If you're trying to be a good husband and your wife still feels distant, guarded, or checked out, I want to share with you the changes you need to make to win her back. Because most men don't lose their wife from lack of effort. They lose her because they're leading the marriage with the wrong skills. You don't need to try harder. You need to change how you're leading at home. Because when I made these changes in my life, something I didn't expect happened. Not only did my marriage improve and my wife come closer, everything actually got easier for me. There was less tension, there was less effort, and fewer fights. For a long time, I couldn't make sense of this. I used to be a firefighter, and on duty, everything felt smooth. I was good with patients, I was good with the public, I was good with the guys on my crew, I was good with my bosses, because I was calm, I was measured, I was thoughtful. I could walk into any tense situation, whether there were emergencies or just chaotic moments, and steady things. I knew how to slow myself down, assess what was happening, and respond in a way that helped everyone. And then I'd get off shift. I'd come home, I'd walk through the front door, and suddenly none of that seemed to work. That same presence I had at work didn't translate at home. Conversations felt harder, I felt more reactive, things escalated faster or shut down completely, and what made it even more confusing was this. I wasn't trying less at home. If anything, I was trying harder. I was trying to lead, I was trying to fix things, trying to keep things from getting worse, but the harder I tried, the more distance I felt. What I couldn't see back then was that I wasn't missing effort or intention. I was using the wrong strategies for this kind of relationship. What changed everything for me was understanding this. Marriage doesn't need the same kind of leadership you use everywhere else. In a lot of areas of life, leadership looks like this: control, decisiveness, speed, and problem solving, keeping emotions contained so things don't spiral. And those skills get rewarded. They make you effective. They make you reliable. They make people trust you. But at home, those same skills often don't land as leadership. They land as distance, even when your intention is to create connection. And once that happens, things start to go sideways. So the changes I'm about to share with you aren't about becoming a different man. They're about switching how you lead. The first switch is this: stop trying to control the relationship, start regulating yourself. And here's what I mean by regulation, because that word can sound vague. Regulation means staying steady inside yourself when things feel uncomfortable. It means noticing what you're feeling, irritation, defensiveness, anxiety, without letting it run the conversation. It's the difference between reacting automatically and choosing how you respond. Let me show you how this played out in my marriage. When things felt tense with my wife, my instinct was to manage the moment. I'd explain, clarify, correct, try to move the conversation somewhere safer. From the inside, that felt like I was being responsible, like I was trying to keep things from getting worse, but what she felt wasn't me trying to lead us closer together. She felt like I needed the moment to go my way, that I was uncomfortable and trying to fix that discomfort as fast as possible. Regulation is the opposite of that. Regulation means you notice your chest tighten, you notice the urge to jump in, and instead of reacting, you stay present. Present with her, present with what she's saying, open, not shut down, not passive, not silent. For me, that meant stopping the attempt to manage her emotion and focusing on staying grounded in my own. Practically, that looked like slowing my breathing down instead of speeding up my thinking, letting her finish instead of preparing my response, listening for what she actually needed, not just what she was upset about, feeling the discomfort in my body without immediately trying to escape it. And when I could do that, the conversation changed. It got calmer and less intense because she didn't feel dismissed. She didn't feel argued with. She didn't feel like I was trying to push the moment away. She felt like I was with her. And that's the first leadership switch in a marriage. Not control, not fixing, regulation. Now, the second switch is all about speed. At work, moving fast is a strength. You identify the problem, you act, you keep things moving. But when emotions are involved, speed feels like you're trying to move on before she's been met. When my wife was upset, I wanted resolution. I wanted to get us out of the discomfort, so I moved fast. But what she actually needed was something very different. She needed tenderness, slower responses, more space between words, more time to feel what she was feeling. So I had to slow down. And here's what slowing down actually looked like for me. And you can do the same. I stopped listening so I could respond and started listening so I could understand. That meant letting her finish fully, even when everything in me wanted to jump in and do something. I paused before speaking, not to calculate the right answer, but to stay present. Instead of correcting her experience, I reflected it back. Something like, "It sounds like you felt alone there." I wasn't fixing anything, but I was showing her that I could understand what she was feeling. And then I did something else that was surprisingly hard at first. I named the emotion I sensed, even if I wasn't totally sure I was right. Something like, "That sounds frustrating," or "I can see why that would feel overwhelming." That's empathy. And empathy doesn't mean you agree. It means you care enough to be with her in the emotion. And here's the part that caught me off guard. When I slowed down like this, the conversations got shorter. There was less looping, there was less escalation, less cleanup afterward. And all because she didn't feel rushed. She didn't feel dismissed. She didn't feel like I was trying to get past her feelings as quickly as possible. She felt met. And that's the second leadership shift in a marriage. Not speed, not fixing, presence. Now, let me pause here for a second and just acknowledge something. If you're watching this and thinking, okay, I get it. I get the first part. I can see how this isn't about control. It's about regulating myself. But then you hear the next part and think, all right, slowing down sounds a little bit harder. And now you're wondering, wait, there's more? I'm not sure I can do all of this. And I get it. I'm not saying these changes happen overnight. They didn't for me. This isn't about suddenly becoming calm, present, and regulated in every conversation. It's about practice. Noticing when you slip into control, noticing when you speed things up because you're uncomfortable, and choosing, even once, to respond a little differently. Some conversations you might only catch one of these. That still counts. Progress in a marriage doesn't come from getting it perfect. It comes from staying engaged and trying again. So if this feels challenging, it just means you're learning something new. And here's why it's worth it. When you start practicing this, even imperfectly, things get easier. Your marriage deserves that. Your wife deserves that. And honestly, you do too. So stay with me and let's keep going. Now, the third switch is where leadership actually starts to show up. And at work, you're trained to lead from what's best, the best idea, the best plan, the best outcome, the best decision. You look at the situation, you pick a direction, and you move to win. That works at work. But in a marriage, what's best can get distorted fast because a lot of men end up leading from what they believe is best for them, or what they believe is best for the house, or what they believe is best for the schedule, the money, the logistics, the plan. And none of that is automatically wrong. The problem is what gets left out. Her needs, her pace, her reality, her limits, her desires. So here's the switch. Stop leading from what I think is best and start leading from an attuned place. What's best for the marriage? And when I say attuned, I'm talking about something simple. It means you're holding two things at the same time. What you want matters and what she wants matters. And you're willing to make decisions from that place. Now, this is where a lot of guys get nervous because they hear consider her and they think it means they're about to lose themselves. That's not what I'm talking about. Attuned leadership isn't martyrdom. It isn't giving up everything you want to keep her happy. It isn't saying yes when you mean no. It's also not doing everything your way and calling it leading. It's choosing a direction that protects the relationship while still respecting both people inside of it. The opportunity to do this shows up all the time, not just in fights. It shows up when you're deciding how full the weekend is going to be. It shows up when you're thinking about taking on more work. It shows up when you're planning a trip or making a big purchase or deciding how you want an evening to go. It shows up when you're thinking about sex, connection, parenting, time together, time alone. A lot of men lead to those moments from default. This is what makes sense. This is what we've always done. This is what I want. This is the right thing to do. Attuned leadership asks a different question. What would feel good for us? What would protect the relationship? What do you need and what do I need for this to work? And the reason this matters is simple. When your wife consistently feels considered, she relaxes. When she relaxes, she becomes more open. And when she becomes more open, everything gets easier and she comes closer to you. The conversations get easier, conflict, intimacy, teamwork, the whole tone of your marriage. And the wild part is when you start leading like this, you stop feeling like you're carrying the marriage alone and you start building a marriage that actually feels like you're on the same team. If you want to keep building on this and understand what leadership in a marriage really looks like, check out the next video.